Welcome everybody to the Q&A webinar for beginners. I'll wait just a few seconds here, let people get logged in. Glad everybody can attend. We'll get started here in just a few seconds. Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Mark Stepp. I am the Chief Innovation Officer here at Realvolve, and the Q&A webinar that we do is really geared specifically for those beginner users that are just getting started into Realvolve and have specific questions that they would like to have answered. Within a bigger format here, we've got several people can attend. We are recording this, so as you go through this, or as we go through this, if there's something you don't quite catch, I will make this available on the on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to play it and replay it and go through the things just as frequently as you would like. So this particular type of session is really for Q&A, questions and answers, so that you guys can get those answers that you need. And the way we do this, on your toolbar, on the control panel itself of the GoToWebinar screen, you should see a little hand area so that you can raise your hand. And there's also a questions area. And if you want to put in any kind of question, type in your questions there. We'll just start going down through them one by one and allowing you guys to ask if you need to. You can raise your hand and I can turn your mic on and we can just go through a specific question or questions. If you've got multiple questions, we can go through that as well. This particular session is really geared for questions and answers, and as long as you've got questions, I'll try to answer them. If we run out of questions, then we can certainly end the webinar early. So hope that makes sense. If you have questions, go ahead and start putting them into the questions area, and I'll start going through that process. First one I have here is, I can't see any of my notes. Did I lose them? Okay, so more than likely not. We typically don't actually lose anything in the database. In your notes section, I want you to take a look at this. Make sure that you do see my screen, and in the questions area, just if you don't mind, just answer yes, or that you see my screen, that you can hear me okay. So make sure that everything is flowing good there. Yes, yes. Okay, good. So in our notes section, if I go to a particular contact, I want to go to first off, just go to a contact and show this here first. I'm going to go to my own contact record, and in the contact record, you will see this notes and correspondence area. To the right of the words notes and correspondence, there is an area here for filtering. And this allows you to remove or only show those things that you want to see. So if I only want to see notes, if I don't want to see any of the other things, I can click on the notes section. Whenever you do that, you'll see that the notes becomes darker. It's just a little bit darker than the gray ones that are there. What that does is that turns on just the notes. If I come over here and turn on the emails, I can see any emails and notes that have gone out. If by chance, and this probably is where the question is you might have it set so that you've clicked on one of these of some sort and nothing else is showing in the notes section because you're filtering it only by a specific type of note or correspondence area that doesn't have anything. So you might have it, you might take a look to see if any of these are dark. If any of them are dark, click on it and it will remove that filter so that everything will show. And that happens because the filter itself is on, and if the filter is weeding out anything except for that particular note type, you won't be able to see it. So I hope that makes sense. Having a hard time finding the merge fields in a template. Is there a way to limit what is shown? Okay, so for those that are in there, if you go into the templates area, anytime that you're in a template, little bit of background on each one of these as we go through these. Templates come in 3 different flavors. Basically, you're going to use a template with either contact, where you're going to be sending information back and forth to that deal just with contacts. It doesn't have anything to do with properties or listings. It doesn't have anything to do with transactions or your closings. It just has to do with your contacts. And that would be like for your leads. You want to send them out information or past client information, stuff like that, that you want to send out correspondence to your people only. And whenever you have the use with, then any of the merge fields that are in the template will be limited to just that type, just that use with type. So if I go bracket, and that brings up my list of merge fields that are available for the contact database itself. If this was a template for the properties, where the use with was properties instead of contact, then all the fields in this list would just be property type merge fields that deal with any particular type of property, which does also include the people tab, the people that are involved with that, but it's not specifically just for contacts itself. But here's the trick. Whenever you view this menu, whenever this menu comes up, yeah, you can go through and you can look through all of them, and it can be kind of a bear to deal with. But we do have built into this a filtering feature as well. So anytime you put in the bracket, that's the 2 square brackets, it brings up the menu. But as you continue typing, it will bring up just those merge fields that have that particular word or keyword that you're typing. So if I wanted to find any kind of date type field, so I can type in the word date after the bracket, and then every field has just the fields in the list are just the ones that have the word date in there. If I go in there and say greeting, as I type things in there, the fields will change based off of whatever I type. So I just typed in partial of greet. If I type in greeting, then it finds everything that matches that criteria. So that really limits that view down. So really what it comes down to is you just got to kind of think about the merge field that you want in there and what it is. If I want to include the first name of something, I can put in first name, and then it will break that out based off of having the word first name in there, etc. So hope that's what makes sense. Okay, another question. Okay, why are some of my contacts highlighted with colors? I get this an awful lot. I need to probably make this a standard training question. Whenever you're in your dashboard, actually go to dashboard, go to your contacts. Whenever you're in your contacts, you'll see that you've got all these names in here, and they do have different colors on them. The only thing about the colors is it helps you determine what category it's in, whether it's an A category, a B category, or C. So all your A's are red, all your B's are the yellowish, all the C's are the green, and the D's are the blue. So you can go through and just kind of quickly see which ones are which based off of the color. If you wanted to go in there and do multiples, maybe I want to bring up everybody that's a B and a C. Well, I can see, which ones are Bs and which ones are Cs based off of the color of this. Another option of doing this, I mean, if you come into the View All screen, you can see all the names. We don't colorize them in here, but we do have another view. If you come over here to the grid view, you can see the names in a little bit different, and you can see the ABCs and their associated colors from here as well. So that's the only thing about those colors, is just what category they happen to be in. Hope that makes sense. I've been told there are workflows that I can install, but I can't find them. My workflow list only has one workflow in it. Okay, so yes, definitely. One of the powerful parts of Realvolve is the fact that we do have workflows, and the workflows are similar in one nature to other products that are out there that have action plans, to-do lists, stuff like that. Workflows are a lot more powerful, and if you're not using workflows, you need to be. Workflows help guide you through all kinds of different stuff. And you'll see in this particular list, I've got all kinds of different workflows set up, but you want to be able to install them from our library. So you can create your own workflows. Come into the workflow section, click on the little plus, and you can create your own workflows. We have an option here for importing workflows from a CSV. This option is only available for people that have an older product called Advantage XI. Just ignore that one for now. But there is an option here for add workflows from the library, and that's the one that you're wanting. So we'll come down here, choose add workflows from the library, and click on continue. Whenever you do that, that shows all the workflows that are in the system so that you can pick and choose from them. We have, I think there's over 50 different workflows. Some of these workflows are public, which means you can install them. There's no charge. All you have to do is click on the install package button and it will install them. There are other workflows in here that are premium workflows. So I'm just going to come down here to like the Dave Beeson letter writer. Dave Beeson has been around for many, many years, and he's got several different letter series that he publishes and sells. Because he sells them, it's under the premium option because it requires an installation code of some sort. If I click here and click on install package, it's going to require a code. Well, to get that code, you have to either go to his website and order them, or they will, if you've already got them, you might want to give them a call and have them email us that you've got the package. And the installation can be done with an install code. So the publics are free and the premiums require code. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not free. They may be included with like some kind of coaching club that you might be a member of, or if it's not part of a coaching program of some sort, then you probably would need to purchase them and install them. But that's where you get them. You go into the workflows. Once you're in the workflows, click on the plus, add workflows from the library, pick them, and then it'll show you all the list of them. You can get kind of a list of what's in them. One of the ones that is public and is free is this client service workflow. It's the Realvolve exclusive. And this has several workflow components to it. We've got like buyer investor home finder service. There's a escrow service for buyer's new build, escrow for buyer, escrow for seller. So there's several workflows in this one package. In fact, there are 13 of them. And of those 13 workflows, there's also 31 templates. Templates being either emails or text messages, stuff like that go along with them. Each workflow has the ability to send emails, send text messages, stuff like that. And if it is part of the workflow, it it will be included with that in the templates area as well. So this is one that if you wanted to take a look at several different examples of workflows and potentially going in there, modifying them, manipulating them to your area, you can certainly do that. Once you install it, then it installs a copy of this workflow at its current point in time, and you can make changes to it. You can delete items, add items, stuff like that. It's yours to kind of manipulate however you want. So we do have lots of training and stuff that is available on the workflows, and I did want to cover that, and I'll do that here in a second, but I just want to make you aware of the different types of workflows that are out there. We do have several on here that are part of the Digs suite. Several of you guys, if you go to our Facebook page, you've probably encountered Kendall Young. She is one of our team members, but she also has her own brokerage and has created several different Digs workflows that you can use within the system. These are ones where you do have to purchase them. Kendall sells these and makes them available, so you might take a look at those. I do want to share, let's see, for those that are interested in those particular, if you go to YouTube, go into the YouTube website and just do a search for Realvolve, it will bring you to our Realvolve site here. It's under my name actually, but the entire site is under Realvolve. And there is a playlist section here, and we've got some workflows to build your business. This is basically last year, we had a series of 6 different webinars, and we went over the different parts and pieces of at least one of each of the different workflows that Kendall has put together, and they are excellent. She did a tremendous job at explaining her thought mentality, the things that she went through whenever she was putting those together. Now, understand, you can create your own workflows and not purchase those from her, and she kind of goes through a lot of these step by step on what they are, what they do. But she's done all the content development, all that kind of stuff. So if you just want to use them, certainly get in there, purchase them from our teams, and those can be made available to you. If you want to watch these and create your own, you can certainly do that and just set those up specifically how you do business, and they are awesome. We've got lots of other options in there. Mark Boylan from New York, he has several different ones that are extremely good as well. They also incorporate, because they deal with lawyers and the attorney stuff. There's certainly some pieces in there that might interest you as well. So lots of different workflows that are available that you can install. I have a new transaction and I want to set up a workflow with automatic emails sent to them through the transaction process. How do I do that? Okay, so this really comes down to a workflow as well. And let me just go ahead and step through something like this. I have a new transaction and I want to set up a workflow to automatically send emails. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and we'll do just like maybe a sample of 3 or something. So I'm going to click on add, the little plus here, and I'm going to create a new workflow. And I'm going to click on continue. What this does is this opens up the workflow editor area to let me define my workflow information. And this one I'm going to prefix it with 00 just so that it's at the top of my list, and say new transaction. You can give it whatever name that makes sense to you on whatever this particular workflow is, and name it however you want. On the use with, in this particular case, since it is dealing with the transaction side, you want to make sure that whatever workflow you're creating, you have the use with set properly. Otherwise, you won't get the proper dates and party members and stuff like that that goes along with it. So in this particular case, we're going to be dealing with transactions. So whenever I'm setting up a workflow, those first two things is really all I need. I'll cover some of these other things in just a little bit, but that's all we really need is those first two fields about what's the name and what are we using it with, and I'll click on Add. So now I basically have, if you want to make an analogy, this is kind of like the book. If I was to think of a book, now I need to add the pages to the book. In this case, instead of pages, we're actually talking about activities to this. So I want to add an activity to this workflow. And the first activity might be something like send thank you to the referring agent. You know, I'm not sure what all you want to incorporate, but you're wanting to set up a series of emails to go through that process. One of those emails might be to send something to the referring agent. Who's going to do that? Is it going to be an assistant? Is it going to be, you can pick who this particular activity is going to be assigned to. If you're a lone agent, it's just going to be your name. If you're a team, you can break it up by specific people by their names. You can go in there and select either Joe agent or any assistant is the two users in this particular account. But you can also choose it by a role. If you want to say, well, I want it to go whoever is the listing agent or whoever is the buyer's agent. You can specify those roles, and then whenever you start this workflow, it'll ask who is the buyer's agent, and then you can pick the particular person. So in this case, I'm just going to choose Joe agent. No big deal there. The question then becomes is who am I sending this to? Who in this email that I'm going to be sending, who am I going to send it to? And in this case, I want to maybe, buyer referred by, or the seller referred by. Either one of those, you can pick whichever one you want, and it would be associated to a person once that particular person gets assigned, and that's going to be something I'll show you here in a second. The question is then, when do I want to send whatever am I going to send? So I might want to do it one day after the contract date. I can do a search there for contract date. So as soon as my contract date. Now I do want to say one thing. If you're on a Mac and you click on the little down arrow here, and if you don't see this little scroll bar, you're only going to see the first 4 items here, and it might be a little confusing. There are actually lots of choices below that, and Mac, for whatever reason, normally hides their scroll bar. So you can go up here into the About Mac, About This Mac. You can go into the General, actually they changed this. System preferences, sorry, not About This Mac. System preferences. Go under General, and there's this section here about scroll bars. Typically it's on this automatically. Change it to always, and you'll be a lot happier with scroll bar issues throughout the system. This will show you all the different date fields that are available. In this case, I'm just wanting to do one day after the contract date. I want this to go out. And so now, what is it that we want to send? We know who's going to do it. We know who's going to receive it. We know when we're going to send it, but what are we going to send? So that's done within an action. So I can come over here. I want to create an action, and I want to just title it Send Email. Now, the reason why we title it is you have the ability to have multiple actions. You might want to have one of them that say Send Email, and then one of them that says Send Text Message. And then whenever you go to perform this particular activity, you could choose which way you want to do it. Do you want to send it as a text message, or do you want to send it as an email, or maybe you want to do both? So the title just allows you to give a title to the action that you're doing and allowing you to then choose it later. What do I want to do? I want to send an email. I have some options whenever I'm sending something, whether I want to do it manually or automatically or immediately. if it's something you're comfortable with, you just want it to be sent out, you can choose automatically. If you would rather it be edited before you send it out, you can choose send manually with preview, and then during the preview you can make any editorial changes to that particular text message or email message. But I'm just going to choose automatic for this one. And the question is, what are we sending? In this case, I'm going to send an email, and then it gives me the option of what is it that I'm wanting to send. So I could sell a referral, close. I mean, you can pick whatever template that you have created. Now, I do recommend that you create your templates first, or at least a stublet, I'll call it a stublet template, where it has at least a very basic outline of what's in that template. That way you can pick it from the list. If it's not a template, by the time this window opens, it won't show in the list, so you'd have to click on save and then come back into it if you create it later. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on save at this point. We now know that we're going to send an email and which email it is. And that really gives me what I need. The only thing you might want to do is come over here and just say the type of this is email. That's just for ease of searching. You can give it whatever type that you want, and then click on the add. So that adds my first activity. Joe Agent will do it one day after the completion date. We'll be sending an email. Now I can go in there and select another thing. So this time maybe I want to email the appraiser. If I can spell, sorry. Email the appraiser. And in this case, maybe Annie Assistant's going to do it. And I'm going to come down here to the party members again and say appraiser. And when am I going to do it? Well, in this particular case, maybe I'm going to do it 5 days after the contract date. I could certainly do that. And same type of thing. I can come over here, choose my email type. We'll create an action, the action being send email. And I'm going to do the same thing, send it automatically as an email. And I'm just going to grab something. No appraisal contract. I'm just grabbing something. So whatever email that you want to make sure you send, make sure you select the proper one. And then click on save. So now I've got what I want there, and I just click on add. And it adds that. So now I've got two things. One is 1 day after, one is 5 days after. Now, there might be something that on this one email appraiser, it might be saying, hey, I need to schedule an appraisal. And then maybe you want to do 3 days after that or 5 days after that, you want to check with the appraiser. So one other option that we've got on here, I want to add another one and say on the title on this, we're going to say check with appraiser on value, whatever. And Annie Assistant is going to do this one again. With on this, once again, is going to be appraiser. Try to do everything quick, and it's when am I going to do this? Okay, so in this particular case, maybe 3 days, and I realize this is short notice, but you guys fix it however you want. 3 days after. Now I could say, we had set up the appraisal one to be 5 days. I think it's what I said I did. Yeah, 5 days after the contract to do the appraisal, which is probably totally off anyway. But you could, if you wanted to do this, you could say 8 days after if you wanted to be 5 days after this one. The problem is what if I don't do this on the 5th day? What if something happens, something doesn't go right, and for whatever reason, this particular activity doesn't get done until maybe the 7th day? Well, if I do that and I send that one, then the very next day, it would try to send out the status, which wouldn't make sense. So there are times when you would probably say, well, I want to base this off of the completion of some activity. So basically, I only want to send this activity 3 days after emailing the appraiser. So in case I'm late on sending the appraiser, I can do that. But I can come down here once I choose the completion date. There's another drop down that's available here for choose the activity and choose the email appraiser. So what this will do by doing it this way, it's going to say 3 days after the completion of email appraiser, this activity will be set. So if by chance on day 7 I do this, it will still wait 3 days before this particular activity gets sent out. Hope that makes sense. And again, we can come over here, we're going to say it's an email, and click on our action, and again, send email. Actually, maybe this is a text message. You know, you could go in there and say send SMS text. Maybe you wanted to text your appraiser instead. You can certainly do that. Say send SMS message, and then pick whatever message that you may want to send. Obviously, that's not quite the right message, but you get the idea. Make sure you've got your messages in there, and then it's all good, and then we click on save. So what will happen then is day 1 it'll send this, day 5 it'll send this. 3 days after you complete this one, then this one here will kick in. Quite possibly, maybe you do this one early. Instead of waiting 5 days, you get it done a little bit early, and you still want to have this particular activity done 3 days after I send it. Then at that point, this will be done a little bit sooner. So that's really what it comes down to, creating those activities and having it send automatically. Hope that makes sense. Can you please explain in more detail the with pick the interested parties option? Okay, so let me go back to that. Because there is quite a few things there. On the with is important for several different things. For the most part, whenever you're dealing with either properties or you're dealing with transactions, 99% of the time you're going to be using party members. Okay, most of the time you'll be doing that. There are other options though that you may find useful for particular types of activities that are in there. One of which is prompt for a contact when created. So if you choose this option, whenever you start this workflow, it will go through a little wizard, we call it a wizard, that kind of steps you through a few different screens. On one of those screens, at that point, it's going to say, choose a person for this activity. You may not know it ahead of time. You may not know who that person is ahead of time. So you can choose it at the point at which you start the workflow. That's an option. There is an option here for contact of assigned to Realvolve user. And that sounds very confusing, but if you break it down, what it means is this. Whenever you log in as yourself, and in Realvolve, that is constituted as a user. You have a user of the software. That user also has a contact record in the contacts database. So I'm going to open this up in a different tab here. I'm going to pop this up just so that I don't lose this screen. So if I go over here to my contacts area, and I'm logged in right now as Joe Agent, if I just do a search here for Joe, you'll see here's Joe Agent. You'll see that it has this little icon here that this is a user contact for Joe. And the advantage of this is I mean you can assign you as the party member, you can keep notes on it and stuff like that, but it's your record. If you're Joe Agent, in this case you're going to have your own, but it's your contact record of you. Okay, well what happens is you can say I want to use the contact of whoever the assigned to field, in this case, any agent or any assistant of the Realvolve user. So what it will do is it will come over here and assign, it'll assign the with field to this contact record. The advantage there is you can set up like your email addresses, your mobile address and stuff like that. And the activity itself may be that maybe you want to send an email to yourself. Well, you can do that by using the contact record of whoever the assigned to is. Just an easy way of doing that. And the reason why we might do that is instead of just assigning, you can say assign to a specific person, in which case you could select any assistant from the contact list. But what happens is if on this particular field, if we've come in here and said, well, we want it to be the buyer's agent, whoever I select as the buyer's agent, which could be Joe agent, it could be Mary agent, it could be whomever on your team, then this particular activity, whenever I select my with, it's going to choose whoever the contact record of that particular role is. Hope that makes sense. So it's got some complicated possibilities there, but very useful whenever you want to potentially send text messages to yourself or reminders to yourself. If you get a brand new lead in and you want that lead to receive a text message, they are the workflow contact, and they're going to be sent a text message, but there are options in here for you to also say, well, I also want to receive a text message that lead just came in. Maybe whatever service that you're using for those leads doesn't automatically text you. Well, you can set up a workflow that whenever that lead comes in, it automatically assigns a workflow to it, and that workflow then automatically sends you out a text message. So some very powerful possibilities there. You can specify specific contact. If this particular activity maybe is assigned to, say, your handyman, and you only use one handyman every time, all the time, you can just say, whatever handyman person or whatever that's in the list. The other option here is the tagged with any of, and this is probably not as common for a property or transaction, except for if you get a brand new listing and maybe you want to send out an email to all your office agents or all your agents in your office, or all maybe the top 50 agents in your area or whatever. You could go in there and say, if a person is tagged with top 150, then send it out. Or maybe you've got a certain type of tag in your database where you've got people that have signed up for getting a list of your new listings, and you can say new listing list, whatever you want to call that. So if you've got contacts in your database that have this tag on them, then it would send a message, a text message, an email, or whatever to every contact in the database that has that tagged. Now that can be dangerous, so use that with great responsibility. But it's very powerful, because now I can do a blast message out to everybody, either text message or email message to everybody that's on a particular list based off of maybe getting a new listing. And then we covered the party members. Hope that helps. Any other questions? How can I see the calendar of events for my team members? Okay, so I'm going to cancel this just so we don't look there. Okay, so if I go into the calendar And this is all based off of permissions, obviously, depending on the permissions you've got. If you've got a team list of some sort, and this is just a training database, so it doesn't really show a whole lot in here. But if I'm looking at a calendar, normally it's going to show everything that I've got to do on my calendar, all the different activities and stuff that's on there. You have, under this More option, the ability to select other team members that you've got in your system, other users that are part of your system. So if I wanted to, basically, if I wanted to see everybody's schedule, I can click on the all and it would show everything. If I've just got one or two, then I'm just selecting those people that I want. Or if I just want to see Annie's, I can come over here and click on that particular one, and it's going to show just those activities that are assigned to Annie. I can do that from the calendar. I can also do that same type of thing if I come over here to my tasks list, and this is you've really got two different views of your calendar. You've got a calendar view, and it can be viewed either by month, week, or day. But you can also go into the tasks area, and this shows you all the tasks that you've got, either dated or not dated, so that you can see them, and I can do a view all or whatever. But we do have filters in here, just like we had filters on notes, and we've got filters on contacts. We've got filters on those tasks as well. And I can go in here and say, well, I only want to see those tasks that are assigned to Annie. And at that point, then it narrows that list down, and then I can see just Annie's information. So very easily be able to see either the calendar view or the list view of contacts that are in users in the database. Hope that makes sense. Any other questions? Anyone? We are got about 20 more minutes if you guys have anything else. One thing I do want to show you, just because you guys, this is really geared for new users, I want to make sure that you guys are aware of a couple different things. Number one, you should be receiving, whenever you first sign up, you should have received some training emails. In those training emails, it references our training site here, this go.realvolve.com/training. If you've not been there, please take a look at that. What I've done is I've broken up some of the very basic parts of Realvolve, adding contacts, adding properties or listings, adding your transactions or your closings, building workflows, building templates, and starting workflows. Those are the things that people want to do right away. And you can go in here, say get started, and we've got all the training, some very basic training on adding contacts, tagging them, and there's lots of things in here. And these are short videos. They're relatively harmless as far as time. You don't have to watch an entire webinar to get the information. And if you skip around, if you want to know how do you sort a contact, well, you can come over here, click on it, and there's a 35-second little video on sorting contacts, and it takes you straight there. As you scroll down, there are some related topics, some additional things that, in adding contacts, how do you add them from maybe a Google Sync, or importing them? How do you bring them in from a Zapier import using a website of some sort, or assigning round robin? So some good things there, some documents, some PDF documents that'll help you. And then some additional resources from our help site, which you can just go to it alone if you want, help.realvolve.com. And there's all kinds of step-by-step documents. There's all kinds of resources here. And the nice thing about this is, if you want to know how do I import something, I can type in the word, a keyword of import, and it'll show you everything it has to do with importing. How do I import it from Realty Juggler or Top Producer or whatever. So lots of really great resources. There's hundreds of documents in the Help Center that can help you in a multitude of ways. But start off by going to the training site and going through that so you don't get overwhelmed with the help. For those people that really want to dig deep into videos, go to our YouTube channel. Again, just go to YouTube, do a search for Realvolve, and you will find it. We're the only one listed in there. But there are lots and lots and lots of YouTube videos, from the webinars that we've done to short trainings of different types that would be very useful. How do I enter a spouse or whatever? Some of these things I've put into that main training, so you don't have to go searching for it. But if you really want to see the whole gamut of all the videos and stuff, this is a quite impressive list of videos that you can pick and choose from. So the help. One thing that I am going to at least wet your whistle on just a little bit. It's not there yet. I really think that by next week we will have it online. Today's just Thursday, so probably by Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday, honestly. We're going to have a brand new feature here called Realvolve Guidance. And Realvolve Guidance is a cool way of stepping you through different activities. And right now we're going through and adding new activities. But like, how do I add a contact? Well, if I just click on Add a Contact, it will guide you through it. It has these little bubbles that will pop up, and it'll say, start, click on Dashboard. So I click on Dashboard. Then it will come over here and say, click the plus to display the add menu. And click the contact. So it takes you step by step by step on some of the very basics. Harry Reid. And enter the address. Some of these will have like next, so if I don't really want to enter it yet, I can just click on next, enter the phone number, 555-1212. I can click on next, whatever. So it will guide you through the different aspects of things. It'll tell you how many steps there are. In this case, there's only 8 steps to kind of showing you through the very basics of adding a contact. And as you complete them, then it will mark them off and do some stuff. So you've got a bunch of different how-tos that we're putting together and some tasks. So if you want to learn certain things, you can go under tasks and keep a track of which ones you've learned. So in that case, we just now did the add a contact, so it's been marked off on my list. Maybe I want to know, how do I add an SMS number or add a profile picture? I can click on that, and it just takes me step by step by step through this. So click on the down arrow, choose settings, click on the image, choose a file, select the image. I want to cancel, but that is coming, and that should be there by next week, and I think you guys will find that extremely helpful for, at least initially, for the very basic types of things that people want to do right away. And then ultimately we'll have a huge library of step-by-step options that everybody can use to do different things within the software. Realvolve is extremely powerful, and because it's so powerful, it does have some complex things in it, but at the same time we try to keep it as simple and as easy to use as possible. All right, we've got about 12 minutes left. Any other questions? We don't have to go through the whole hour, but I want to make sure that you guys get all your answers that you need. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Well, thank you guys for attending, and thank you for taking the time to learn Realvolve. Realvolve, like I said, it has a lot of power to it, and you're not going to learn it all at one time. Don't even get that into your mind. But as you go through these different trainings, as you go through the webinars, while you might not remember exactly how to do certain things, at least you know that Realvolve can do them. So I get a lot of questions on, can Realvolve do this or can they do that? And it's yes, in most cases you can. It's just a matter of knowing, that it's there. So hope that's helpful. Everybody have a wonderful new year. Hope that this year is great for you guys. I know we've got a lot of things happening within Realvolve, some exciting endorsements and things that's been happening, and you will be hearing more about that. We are super, super excited about everything that is going on, and some of the new tools and stuff that's going to be made available very shortly. That's going to be very exciting for you guys. So you guys have an awesome day and an awesome new year. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.